200. From big tracks to short tracks, these four-cylinder rockets battle it out through 21 races in 8 different states. It's a true classroom for Winston Cup wannabes. Who will be the next driver to make his mark and climb racing's ladder of success? Well, hang on tight. Goody's Dash is next. Welcome to the Tidewater region of Eastern Virginia. Along the coast of the Chesapeake Bay is Norfolk, Newport News, and Hampton, Virginia. Home of the Virginia Air and Space Museum, historic Langley Air Force Base, and Langley Speedway. Hello everyone, I'm Ray Dunlap, and welcome to the 15th event of the 1997 Goody's Dash Series. You know, we introduced you to a brand new driver back in February. Brian Sockwell won his first career Goody's Dash event back in Daytona. But this season goes all the way into November. Matter of fact, it'll be November 9th when they run the last event of the 1997 season at Homestead. Well, let's take a look at the points right now. Mike Swaim Jr. on the heels of 4 consecutive wins has a 173-point lead over second place Sockwell. But look, from second to 6th place back, it's only 120 points separating those 5 drivers. I'd like to welcome to the program right now my broadcast partner, the 1987 Goody's Dash Rookie of the Year, Andy Belmont. Andy, this racetrack really has a lot of NASCAR history.
A lot of history, Ray. This place held the Winston Cup cars here, the late 60s. David Pearson, a big winner. But now the cars that are here, the premier division is the Goody's Dash Series. These guys want to win at Langley, get down in the history books as one of the Dash Series winners going back all the way to 1975.
7 different winners in 1997. Take a look right here at Mike Swaim Jr. We introduced him as 4-time winner this season, 9 career victories, and the Goody's Dash Series point leader, Mike Swaim, 21 years old. And how about Brian Sockwell? This guy won the very last race at Myrtle Beach, and look at that, 3 career Busch Pole Awards. Well, it was 3, folks, but now it's actually 4 because Brian Sockwell has won the pole tonight here at Langley. And right now we'd like to introduce him to you. He's standing by with our pit reporter, Stephen Cox.
Well, I'm not sure what the secret is to running this place, but Brian Sockwell does. Brian, kind of take me on an imaginary lap and tell me how you do it.
Be smooth and very careful. This track it's got one real good groove and probably another, just a half a groove above that. And as far as going in turn 1, you better go in low. Earlier today, it was real slick at going in high, and then we try to come off low and enter 3 and 4 pretty good, and there's a little lip there you can hook it and come on off 4, and it seems to make the car want to turn a lot easier. It loosens the car up and get it to turn. And
thanks, Brian. Hey, good going today. And I'll tell you, Will Hobgood has his share of problems, too. He crashed hard into the wall at Myrtle Beach. He possibly cracked a rib. He didn't go to the doctor, guys. He said he didn't have time. He was too busy working on the race car. A lot of pain below the right shoulder blade. It may keep him from going the distance. If not, Danny Bagwell will fill in.
So quite a few variables in tonight's race. Will Hobgood be able to go the distance? We'll find out when we come back, and we'll tell you more about that big crash at Myrtle Beach. Don't go away. We're ready for the start of the race after this. Hired at Langley Speedway in Hampton, Virginia, a huge crowd on hand tonight as we get ready to go with event number 15 of the 1997 season. The cars are on the grid ready to roll off, but 1 week ago there was some wild action. It all took place on the beautiful shores of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Last Saturday night at Myrtle Beach Speedway, Brian Sockwell started on the pole with a new track record. Right alongside was Mike Swaim Jr., but Sockwell grabbed the early lead that he would never give up. But look at this, Charles Powell and Robert Huffman tangled, which brought out the red flag. Soon after the restart, Sockwell was tired of trying to get around the 37 and gave him a gentle nudge. That was the only close moment for Sockwell as he picked up his 3rd win of 1997. That gave him a chance to get that ever so pleasant Gatorade shower. And Andy, we came out of that race with sort of a crazy situation. NASCAR had to assess a penalty to Robert Huffman.
Yeah, the penalty sets him back about 40 points. Ray, maybe not tonight, that's not big of a deal, but 5 races further in, it could be a deal that cost him the championship here in the Goody's Dash Series.
40 points, a lot of points, every point so valuable on these races. This is a beautiful racetrack at Langley Speedway, ladies and gentlemen. On board right now with Christian Elder in car number 21. He'll be carrying an onboard camera for us tonight, as well as Brian Sockwell. Sockwell will also be having a in-car camera in car number 54. There's a look at Christian Elder. Here's a youngster, Andy, that really is an up-and-comer.
He's an up-and-comer, Ray. Had a rough qualifying run tonight. Got a little bit out of shape. Not characteristic of the David Watson prepared cars to be that far back in the field. Look for him to mow down the rows as we throw the green.
Qualifying was not that great for Christian Elder as we take a look at the rundown tonight here for this race at Langley Speedway. Starting on the pole with a brand new track record, Brian Sockwell in car number 54, and somewhat of a surprise, B.J. Mackey in number 71 on the outside of row 1.
Only his 5th start of the season. Charles Powell III starting in 3rd. Mike Swain Jr. looking to be the first second-generation champion in the Dash Series.
Both of those drivers with wins in 1997. Scott Weaver in car number 2 and row number 3, along with Will Hobgood. The question is, will Hobgood be able to go the distance?
Larry Cottle, 2-time champion, brings up the inside of row 4. Robert Huffman looking for another win tonight here at Langley outside of row 4.
Ned Combs in car number 9 will go on the inside of row number 5. And Ricky Bryant, a rookie in this series, a very good driver in car number 5.
Terry Labonte's Dr. Brewer starts on the inside of row 6. Jake Hobgood on the outside of row 6.
Jake, the younger son of Will Hobgood. John Redmond in number 45, along with Pat Patterson in the Discount Auto Parts number 11, make up row 7.
Gross in the Richard Mass prepared car inside of row 8. Robert Luckadoo outside row 8.
Number 9, we see Steve Barnes in number 55. And look, right there's Christian Elder in that car number 21. He's got a long way to go to make it through this field.
Joe Furby on the inside of row 10. Don Deese making his first start in car number 10.
Matthew Barnes, a younger brother, in number 25. And James Trout, no time for Trout. He spun out in qualifying. He makes up the 11th row. So the field is set, and they are lined up 2 by 2. Coming by the flag this time, we will get a 1 to go and be ready to go racing. Take a look at the race analysis here. The distance of tonight's event, 100 laps. Looks kind of funny, Andy. They're seeing only 39 miles.
39.5 miles.
A very short track here. A new track record, as we said. These cars have been setting track records at just about every track. They go very, very fast, and it was deadly hot this afternoon as they qualified here. Ready to go racing. Brian Sockwell on the pole in car number 54, and just about a half a lap will get them underway.
Looking down the back stretch for the last time before we go green. These guys had it all. The butterflies are all gone. It's time to hit 3rd gear, come up through the gearbox off of 4. A good start. We're going to see them try to get down to single file, Ray. This place is real tight racing when it comes to 2 abreast. It's real tough.
You see that the back stretch is completely in the shade now, and when they qualified these cars, this racetrack was under direct sunshine. So the pace car will go in this time. Coming off of turn 4, the field is lined up, the crowd is on its feet, and here they come. The green flag is out. Trouble over in turn number 1 as 2 cars are into the wall. The number 58, that is Jake Hobgood and Pat Patterson in the number 11. The field comes down the front straightaway and gets the yellow flag on the very first lap.
Ray, I knew we'd have a caution early, but I didn't think it would be that quick. You know, it's real tough at Langley here. They say if you get your tires up out of that groove, the cars come right out from under you. And, of course, we did have the late model practice earlier. They have a different compound tire out there. We got the late models on Hoosiers, the dash cars on Goodyears. They say that the rubber that's on the racetrack back and forth between the cars is different to try and get a hold of.
We see very little damage on Pat Patterson's Discount Auto Parts number 11, but Hobgood's car does not look nearly as good as Patterson's. Take a look at exactly what happened here. Going down into turn 1, the green flag has just come out.
Looks like Pat Patterson tries to check up. The Hobgood tried to get down in the middle of the corner, maybe to come off of turn 2. Patterson saw that, checked up. And these cars here, Ray, you can't roll out of the throttle real hard, or it's actually like jamming on the brakes, and that's kind of what happened to Patterson. He gets away unscathed.
See the precision engine service on the hood there of the number 58 car, and a good bit of damage to Jake Hobgood, who's making his 25th start tonight in the Goodies Dash. Well, the yellow flag is out very early here. We will be back with more racing from the Langley Speedway. The Goodies Dash is underway here tonight. Welcome back to the NASCAR Goodies Dash Series at Langley Speedway in Hampton, Virginia. The sun has set somewhat here this evening, so the backstretch is under complete shade, as you can see there, but the front stretch still in great sun. Andy, what's that going to do to these race cars?
Well, the cars are pretty sensitive, so what's going to happen is the cars are going to be tight up off the second corner, a little bit of a tight sensation getting into 3. Then as they come across the apex of turn 3 into the transition into turn 4 there, the cars are going to be loose. Looks like we're going to go green right this time, Ray.
So the pace car heads to the pit road, and we're back under green flag as Brian Sockwell gets on the gas, and B.J. Mackey, followed closely by the number 72 car, Charles Powell, that everything seems to go pretty well this time on the restart. See, Doc Brewer there is a little bit to the high side, making a little bit of contact with another car. Looks like Sockwell's car is pretty well dialed in, though.
Sockwell looks like he's in pretty good shape up off the corner, but of course Mackey's a pretty smart driver. I think you might just be sizing him up early here, Ray.
This racetrack is one of the tracks that B.J. Mackey really likes.
Yes, he does, Ray. He gets around here real good, and of course this is only his 5th start of the season, so a second spot qualifying for him in his 5th time out is really an impressive run.
So Brian Sockwell is your leader. There you see B.J. Mackey running in the number 71 car. He runs in 2nd place. Of course, Mackey from Rock Hill, South Carolina. And it looks like the 34 car of James Trout is off the pace. He slows down as the leaders go by, and they pass the number 32 of Joe Furby. And the yellow flag is out as we have had another spin as the leaders come right into turn number 1. As a car has gotten sideways, can't quite see the number on that one.
Boy, I tell you what, Ray, a hair-raising experience for the 71 and 72 car. They were going down in the corner side by side, and we're faced with the 15 car, you know, right in front of them backwards. Tough place here. You know, it's tough. Your spotter tells you there's trouble, and you no sooner hear it, and you're in it.
Robert Luckadoo in the number 15 car gets it sideways there, and he has now lost a lap and probably will lose a couple of laps here as the leaders go by him for the 2nd time. Take a look at exactly what happened here. Doc Brewer is up on the high side there in the number 44 as he is racing along with the number 65 of Will Hobgood. They go down into turn number 1, and
yeah, it looks like right there on the bottom, he got below the white line, Ray. Almost got the car into the grass. I think it's one of the situations he realized he was in too deep. Locked her down. Of course, you know with these cars, you lock the brakes down, they come right out from under you.
So Luckadoo spins it around there in turn number 1. He has the car righted now as he starts to get back underway. And we should get 1 to go this time by. There was no debris on the racetrack, so with Luckadoo going again, although he is a couple of laps down now, we should get the restart once again. So a couple of early cautions tonight here in the Goodies Dash.
Ray, I think what's happening here is you got a handful of rookies that have never seen this place before, and this is a hairy racetrack, very tight, tough to get around. And, you know, we've had some incidents early, but it's been the rookie guys making rookie mistakes.
So Brian Sockwell is your leader. B.J. Mackey 2nd with Charles Powell, Mike Swaim, and Robert Huffman in the top 5. So a couple of cars go to the outside now, Andy, and those are cars that are now a lap down.
These are the lap down cars. It's going to be treacherous for those guys trying to get back in line. I don't think anybody's going to be very kind here. That first 5 or 6 cars are not going to let them in.
Green flag back out. Sockwell again with a good jump down the front straightaway, but Charles Powell is not letting B.J. Mackey out of his sights. He's got him right on the bumper, and here comes Robert Huffman in the 37 moving up there into the top 5.
Huffman, you know, once again, we talked earlier about him being penalized. This guy's a great race car driver, loves this racetrack. This is a lot like Hickory, where he was a track champion as a late model. He knows his way around this place. I expect him to advance much quicker before we get to the end of this race.
Christian Elder currently running in 10th place right now in car number 21. You're on board with him, and you can see how much of the time here you're actually turning the wheel to the left. A little bit of damage to the right rear there of the number 21 car. Will that affect his aerodynamics?
Ray, I don't think it will. This track is so tight. You know, you mentioned you're turning all the time. You never really get the car straight here. It's like driving in a big egg.
So Elder with a little bit of damage to the right rear of the 21. See if that causes him any trouble. On board with Christian Elder. What a year this driver has had. And the number 55 car has a problem. Looks like maybe a wheel bearing locked up for Steve Barnes.
White smoke. I don't see any debris, Ray. Hopefully. Oh, we've got another caution. NASCAR deemed there is something out there. I guess they're going to have to throw some oil dry down. Really surprised, Ray. The guys are having a tough time getting into a rhythm here tonight.
So Barnes brings out the yellow for the third time tonight. Barnes from Westminster, Maryland. Fourth caution on lap 26. What do you think's wrong with the Jasper Engine's number 55 there, Andy?
Ray, I'm just guessing. You know, you see some smoke out the back there that looks like white. Generally, white smoke is water, overheating problem of some sort. These cars are very sensitive. You know, they got electric fans in them. The way the front of these motors are, they're like your family passenger car. They don't have an area where a fan, a manual fan, can be bolted to the front of the water pump. So they have an electric fan. Cooling on these cars is a big problem on some of these short tracks because they can't force enough air across the front end. It's not like being at Daytona or Charlotte where air is not a problem. Here you have no air going across the motor.
Well, 1 year ago, Steve Barnes finished 17th here at Langley Speedway, but it looks like his day may be done early tonight. They'll push the Jasper Engine's car back. Sockwell is your leader with Mackey, Powell, Swaim, and Huffman, the top 5.
Share of trouble tonight. This may be terminal. Howard Williams, crew chief, what happened?
Well, we started overheating a little bit, and now rolling the rod let loose, and the motor just dropping beside the flop.
Well, it's going to be a problem the rest of the day, guys.
So the end of the day for Steve Barnes as we're back under green once again in this Cooks 100 here at Langley Speedway. A couple of cars going to the outside there. You mentioned Doug Brewer getting hung out there. That's not where you want to be on the racetrack.
It sure isn't, Ray. And you know what? Lap cars are really a problem here at Langley. It's just a tough place to pass to begin with, and they don't give you enough room as they're going by. Now, we got Mackey going by for the lead. Here comes Powell.
So Charles Powell gets the wheels off over in turn number 4 as he tries to take advantage of that same line that B.J. Mackey held as he moved by Brian Sockwell and takes the lead. So our second leader tonight. The number 54 car of Sockwell was so good on the first couple of restarts, and Mackey seemed to take that pretty easily.
Yeah, I think he was just sizing him up, Ray, really was. And again, lap traffic comes into play here. Mackey knows his place pretty well. He boxed him in, made a great move.
Mackey finished 8th here in 1996 after starting 16th, so he's really improved his qualifying and at this point improved his track position. He's running first.
Look for the 72 car to jump in here, guys. He's really strong.
So Brian Sockwell goes from the pole position to second place as B.J. Mackey gets by him in a hurry. Now the big question is, can the 72 car, Charles Powell, do anything with him? You're on board here with Brian Sockwell in the number 54, and he is really sawing at the wheel.
Great shot here from the camera. Now we'll follow the line of Mackey into the corner. Mackey just looks like he's on cruise control, right? He's just having doesn't look like the car's bobbling at all. Looks like the Sockwell car is going to have to wait for an error at this point.
Some of the cars in practice, Andy, seem to have a very good line, very low coming off the turns, but a few of those that we're watching right now don't have that same line, so this track really has changed.
The track's changed. It's a totally different racetrack than what they qualified on, and the guys here, the situation simply is who made the right adjustments.
Big crowd in front right there as B.J. Mackey has some lap traffic to deal with. He goes around the outside of Joe Furby in the number 32, and look at this, 3 wide into turn number 1.
Great move by Charles Powell III. He used the lap traffic to box Sockwell out. He's gone after the leader, Mackey.
Donnie Deese in the number 10 car got pushed way up to the wall there, and I think he said, I'm going to let these guys go.
That's a rookie indoctrination. Welcome to Langley in the Dash Series.
So some great racing from the top 15 tonight here in the Goodies Dash Series. A new leader is B.J. Mackey as he made his way by Brian Sockwell, and now Sockwell has moved from second position back to third as Charles Powell has gotten that number 72 car past Sockwell. So Sockwell losing positions out on the racetrack right now. B.J. Mackey seems to have things going pretty well in his position. And look at this. Here is Robert Huffman. We talked about him at the top of the show, racing along with the number 65 of Will Hobgood. This racetrack really plays into the hands of a driver like Robert Huffman.
Sure does, but I think right now he's struggling with the car. In practice, he told me he was having some brake problems. I don't think they got it straightened out. You need to toe the brake pedal just a little bit to keep the car from getting upset here. Hobgood drove past him. He's driving off. Interesting to note about the 65 car. Last week, that was one of Lyndon Amick's race cars. Hobgood was out of race cars after the crash at Myrtle Beach. They bought that car, repainted it, brought it here to Langley.
So a brand new race car for Will Hobgood. We talked at the top of the show that he might be getting out of that race car due to those injuries. But I'll tell you what, when you're running in the top 5, sometimes it can make you feel a lot better.
Well, I asked him that very point. I said, if you're running good, are you going to get out of the car? He said, well, we'll cross that bridge. We had a big grin on his face when he said it.
Hobgood running very well as he moves up to the back of Jimmy Gross, or excuse me, Mike Swaim Jr. in the 28 car.
He's all over Mike Swaim Jr.
So Hobgood's car really performing well as he comes down the front straightaway, takes a look at the 28 car. Swaim not wanting to give him that line, but Hobgood's car working very well on the inside, and he'll take the position.
He didn't give him that position. He made that hole.
Mike Swaim Jr., the point leader in the 1997 Goodies Dash division. 4 consecutive wins for Swaim, but he is slipping backwards now as Hobgood makes a charge.
I want to make a call to Mike Swaim, though. He's a real smart race car driver. His dad trained him well. At this point of the season, if he just minds his toes, you know, stays out of trouble and gets him a top 5 to top 10 finish the rest of the way, he'll be a champion.
Well, we talked about that point lead at the top of the show, Andy. 170-some points is a pretty good pad to come into this race with.
Sure is. If he just keeps his nose clean, I think he'll be our champion.
Now,
but anything can happen.
Here comes Robert Huffman moving up to the back of Mike Swaim, and we're having a battle there for 5th place, and Huffman's car working good down to the inside. Will he be able to take the position away from Swaim?
Looks like Swaim's car has a little bit of a loose sensation getting in, and right in the middle, he can't turn it. You know, he's got a handful right now.
Mike Swaim has led 382 laps in 1997, but it doesn't look like he's got a car at this point in the race so far to lead tonight here at Langley. Here goes Huffman, takes a look again, and a little bit of contact coming off of turn number 2 as Huffman goes down the back straightaway in that White House Apple Juice's number 37, and he will take that position from Mike Swaim.
That's just racing, Ray. It's just racing.
We're going to take a break from Langley Speedway. More racing in the NASCAR Goodies Dash Series. We are almost to the halfway point here tonight. Back with more in a moment. Back to Langley Speedway. It's the NASCAR Goodies Dash in action, and your leader.
Ray, we're following this race. Mackey literally looks like he's on cruise control. He's got the car. He's in a rhythm right now. Sockwell's got a fight on his hands with the 72 car, Charles Powell III.
You said that B.J. Mackey's only made 5 starts in 1997. Somewhat uncharacteristic for the last couple of years. He's run all the races, finished 9th in the points in 95, and last year had a great run, finishing 6th in the season points.
He's been a strong competitor of the Dash Series. He's been a big supporter of the division, but once again, Ray, economics plays a big thing. This year we went to the 15-inch tires. There was a lot of changes that cost money to make these cars a little more safe with the 15-inch rubber, and again, finances everything.
Back on board with Brian Sockwell, who has moved back into 2nd place, taking that position away from Charles Powell III in the number 72 car. So Sockwell's car starting to come back to him a little bit, and I think at this point, Andy, they may be saying we better go.
I think it is time to go, but once again, Sockwell's won enough races this season. He may very well have said, all right, Mackey, you want to run off and hide and kill your tires, go for it. I'm going to cruise here, try to be smart, drive a smart race, let the race come to me, and it looks like that may very well be what's happening as he's closing in on the leader.
So that differential between 1st and 2nd that we saw right when we came back from break has shortened up already. And here comes Brian Sockwell as he is moving right back up on the tail of the number 71 of B.J. Mackey from Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Yeah, he's cut a half-second lead right down to a couple of car lengths, right?
And look at this. He's going to catch some lap traffic here as he comes up on Jimmy Gross from Bowling Green, Kentucky in that number 26 car. Now, Gross also has a car right in front of him, and Mackey gets held up by Jimmy Gross, and the lead changes once again.
Yeah, he had a great run up off of turn 2. He had a head of steam, and Mackey just had to check up a little bit. As we said earlier at the top of the show, lap traffic is going to dictate this race.
Now, how does that change the approach for Brian Sockwell? In one lap, he gets the lead back. Now, does he drive a different kind of race?
I think if it were me in his shoes, I'd almost say check up a little bit. Let's save the car. Make him try to go around you on the outside. You know, if he doesn't get boxed in, he has the race in hand.
Brian Sockwell, an interesting driver, made his move up into this division after competing in a lot of legend car racing. He runs at Charlotte Motor Speedway quite a bit, and over the years he ran in a lot of different ATV type of racing, but now he's got 4 wheels and fenders, and he is having a great run tonight here at Langley.
I think it's a great testament, Ray. He jumps up from the Legend Series. That's a division that looks like it has the ability to produce some real race car drivers.
Now, we talked about Christian Elder at the top of the show with a poor qualifying run. He really hasn't come on as strong as I thought he might.
Now, I really thought he would jump up through there myself, but they just apparently missed the setup. That's real uncharacteristic. David Watts prepared cars generally have won races here. He's generally not out to lunch like they are tonight.
Charles Powell in the number 72 car from Goose Creek, South Carolina. A new sponsor on board tonight, Home Care Solutions, on that number 72 car as he continues to run in 3rd place. But he is starting to lose sight of those front 2 cars as Sockwell now is putting some distance on B.J. Mackey.
He sure is. And once again, they're going to come into heavy lap traffic. Mike Swain looks like he has a problem going down the back, and Sockwell's going to be coming up on him very shortly to put him a lap down.
Taking a look there at the 65 of Will Hobgood with the Wins Oil sponsorship. Hobgood having a good run in that brand new race car. You know, we talked about that car being destroyed last week at Myrtle Beach, and he went and bought this race car, and that was a downfall for another driver, Monk Coolidge.
Yeah, that's right. Monk crashed his car as well. Both guys went to the same place to buy the same race car. Of course, Monk didn't get there quick enough.
Hobgood made it there a couple hours earlier, so he gets the race car and having a great run tonight in the number 65 car. The leader is catching some traffic here as Sockwell goes to the outside, and look at this, Mike Swain is in danger of going a lap down, so you're right, he is certainly having some sort of problem, I would imagine.
Ray, this is something you just don't see. Mike Swain very rarely not on the lead lap. In fact, I think he's completed the most laps this year, so highly uncharacteristic.
Mike Swain runs in 8th position on the racetrack, but going a lap down to Brian Sockwell. Folks, if you've been watching ESPN Racing and checking out the NASCAR Goodies Dash Series, you've seen an awful lot of this number 54 car. He won the race at Daytona, then he won at Bristol Motor Speedway, right here on ESPN, so he likes his TV coverage.
Boy, I guess, you know, every time he's on TV, he's checking out. They're going to need a roadmap to find him here pretty soon.
Now, B.J. Mackey gets hung up a little bit here as he's trying to get around Mike Swain Jr. Swain gives him the line, so Mackey makes it through. And here comes Hobgood. He is getting some challenge now from the 72 of Charles Powell, so Hobgood coming on a tear.
Yeah, that car looks like it's coming real strong late, so hopefully we'll see him close up the gap and make a race of it.
Those guys racing there for 3rd position on the track. So Powell slips back to 4th spot as he gets passed by Will Hobgood. And Pat Patterson in the Discount Auto Parts Pontiac, or Ford, excuse me, has spun over in turn number 3, and he made slight contact with the wall, but that's going to bring out the yellow.
Yeah, we'll see if he can drive away. Now, this is a break, I think, that Hobgood needed, a caution to tighten up the field. And once again, let's remind everybody here, the Dash Series cars have the lap car start to the outside. So he's going to have a clear shot at the leader, a good run at him.
The 5th caution here on lap 72 as Pat Patterson tries to figure out just what went wrong with his car number 11. Ford Mustang, I guess.
That's a Mustang. You see Pat in there trying to get the car started. I don't think he's hurt all that bad as far as the condition of the car. I think he's more mad at himself than anything else. Now, he didn't put the window down, window net down. Typically, they advise the guys, if you're okay and you can't go, put the net down so the safety crews know that you're all right. In this case, I think he just wants to get pushed off and get a start, see if he can get back into the race.
Well, we see Pat moving around in there, so every indication is that he is just fine as we are under caution once again here at Langley. Now here's a look on Sockwell's race car, and if you look to the left, you can see Patterson's already spun around. He was all by himself, so no other callers involved, and just a very slight amount of contact there with the wall.
He'll stop at Discount Auto Parts for some duct tape, I'm sure.
So Patterson is being pushed to the pits, and we are under caution once again as the NASCAR Goodies Dash Series is at lap 73 here from Langley, and Brian Sockwell is your leader. Is in event number 15 of the 1997 season at Langley Speedway. And look at this racetrack. Wayne Wyatt, the promoter here, has been putting an awful lot of money into this facility. They're building some brand new skyboxes up there, and look at the crowd. This place is sold out, standing room only tonight. Great crowd on hand. a beautiful night here in Eastern Virginia.
You know, I was talking to Wayne earlier in the evening, and he says this is a typical crowd for him. They pack the place every Saturday night. And for you short track promoters out there, he is setting the pace. He's taking the lead of NASCAR's popularity. He's selling this place to everybody that has a care to look into the racing world.
The Winston Racing Series races here on a weekly basis in the Mid-American region, did you say?
This is the Mid-Atlantic region, of course, and Danny Edwards, we might see him a little bit later on. One nice thing to see about this place, Ray, everything here is just meticulously maintained. The grass is nice on the infield, the restrooms for the ladies and what have you. I mean, everything is just very first class.
So the Langley Speedway is almost 4/10 of a mile. The track width 45 feet wide, so a lot of room for racing, but not very much banking here, Andy.
45 feet is not a lot of room to race now, Ray. I mean, come on.
For these little cars?
For these little cars? Anyway, 4.5 degrees banking. When they repaved the track, they put some bank on it. This place was freshly paved 3 years ago. It was virtually flat, a lot less treacherous now than it had been.
So you see Brian Sockwell has raised up his visor, trying to get a little bit of air in there. It's about 95 degrees here tonight, so a very hot evening for racing, and that's some of the reason why I was surprised so many people came out. But they have packed this place, and they are having a great time watching the Goodies Dash Series. Well, we've had a lot of different winners this year. Mike Swaim Jr., as we've mentioned a couple of times, off the pace tonight, but with 4 victories. Sockwell winning 3 of them. Hopgood, Huffman, and look at this, Christian Elder, Charles Powell, and Scott Weaver, all with 1 victory. It's been very competitive.
Sure has. This is one of the best years the Dash Series has ever seen as far as feature event wins and different great competition.
A couple of good races coming up for the NASCAR Goodies Dash Series. If you're out around Summerville, South Carolina, go there and watch them on August 30th. Then they go to St. Augustine. Hickory Motor Speedway is coming up. And, of course, as we mentioned, they will close it all out at Homestead on November 9th. Well, the green flag is back out, and a great jump for Brian Sockwell as he really got a blast on B.J. Mackey.
He got a great jump, but look at Hopgood now. He's going around the lap car of Cottle. If he can get clean racetrack, he may make a race of it.
Now, Larry Cottle has won this race 4 times from the pole, but he's a little bit slow tonight.
Yeah, Larry's off the pace. I talked to him earlier. He just said they were about 4/10 off and didn't know why. They can't find it. He was really beside himself.
So Cottle very unhappy with the race car underneath him tonight, but Hopgood gets by him in the 65. There you see the 77 of Larry Cottle, a 4-time winner here at Langley Speedway. But the car that I think is probably performing the best right now on the racetrack has got to be Hopgood in that number 65. He is really clicking them off.
He sure is. Looks like the last lap he was really making a run, got a little bit out of shape up off of 2, but he's got it back into rhythm now. Looks like Mackey's sizing up our leader.
So Hopgood's in 3rd place right now with Charles Powell back in 4th. Hopgood started 6th and has moved up back to the lead there. We saw Brian Sockwell and B.J. Mackey. There's Mackey in the number 71. And you're right, he has closed up that distance after a great restart by Brian Sockwell. He really got a jump on Mackey.
He sure did. I think he's got to find into his slide into his tire tracks, see where his weakness is going to be so he can make that last lap pass.
One of the other divisions in NASCAR's touring series is the Slim Jim All-Pro Series, and there's been quite a few rumors that Brian Sockwell may be headed there. What do you hear about that?
Well, we hear he's going to move on. This kid's got a pretty aggressive schedule ahead of him. Every place he's been, he's stayed there long enough to run real good in a short period of time and then moved right on. I hear he's going to go All-Pro next year. It's a shame for the Dash Series to lose such a great guy.
He is a great driver. Won at Daytona, then at Bristol, and of course, as we showed you last week at Myrtle Beach, he led every lap of the race. Well, he hasn't been that fortunate tonight because B.J. Mackey's been giving him a real good run. As Sockwell led laps 1 through 30, then Mackey was out front from 31 to 59. And now Sockwell's back out front again, but Mackey's not too happy about that, I don't think.
I don't think he's too happy about it. And of course, we got about 14 laps left, and we're coming into some heavy lap traffic. We'll see if this doesn't play into Mackey's hands.
Well, don't count out Charles Powell III in number 72. He's right back on the bumper of Hopgood. He gave him a little nudge there coming off of 4. So they're turning the wick up a bit in Charles Powell's car. Here he goes for the pass, coming off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Can Powell do it?
He's up in a big hole there, Ray. Let's see if Huffman can follow him through.
Yellow flag is out as we've got a car off on the back straightaway, has slid off, and that's Ricky Bryant in car number 5. Bryant from Linwood, North Carolina, was the 1996 ARCA Power Sports Pro 4 champion, but he has looped it there on the back straightaway and the window net down, so everything fine with Ricky.
Now this happened here on lap 87, Ray. What's going to happen by the time they clean the racetrack up will probably be into that 10-lap window where we go the 10-lap rule, where we have no lap cars up there. Everybody's going to be single file restart, so we're going to see how they close the field up.
So within 10 laps to go of this race, they do go single file as we're under the 6th caution tonight at lap 87. Ricky Bryant's Racing USA number 5. They're trying to get the hood up on it so they can get him hooked up in a hurry and get that race car out of the way. Bryant comes into the race tonight 10th in points, so this is going to hurt him a bit. We'll see if he's able to get that Racing USA Pontiac back into the race as they push him off the back straightaway. The wrecker is in position and getting him out of the way. Well, Brian Sockwell continues to be your leader, then B.J. Mackey, Charles Powell III, Will Hobgood, and Robert Huffman. We've run 88 laps of 100. We'll be back with more from the Goodies Dash at Langley after this.
With air into the driver. Brian Sockwell went so far as to put a cooler and strap it to the side of his seat with a straw up inside his helmet. Let's see who can go the distance at the end of the race.
Well, the sun just starting to go down here at Langley, so it is cooling off just a little bit. But Andy, inside that race car, it's awfully hot.
It's like a sauna in there. And let's remember, most of these guys wear a 2-layer suit. They wear the fire retardant underwear. You've got exhaust temperatures up through the car. It's at least 140 degrees inside these cars. When we were under caution previously, you saw them hanging their hand out the window. That's trying to make a scoop out of their hand just to get some of that 100-degree air out there. That's 40 degrees cooler. It's just like air conditioning.
Oh, real refreshing, huh? You see the gloves there on Brian Sockwell as he is getting geared up to go back to racing. The lights are off on the pace car, and we should go back to green here on lap 90. So it will be a single file restart. You see there how the sun is just setting here tonight at Langley, and the green is back out. Not quite as good a jump for Sockwell that time as he makes it on the 71 of Mackey. Mackey right there in position.
Yeah, it was a great restart. Now, it was great with the in-car camera. We saw that was a second-gear restart. And, of course, Mackey put his bumper in the gas tank of Sockwell, telling him he needed to go.
So Ricky Bryant's number 5 car will head back out onto the speedway as he has gotten that car refired. You see him there just coming back into traffic as everyone avoids him. B.J. Mackey in the number 71 running in 2nd place has his sights set on Brian Sockwell in the number 54. At what point, Andy, do you make the charge here? Now, we're inside of 10 laps to go. We've got 7 remaining right now, and I got to believe that Mackey's starting to get a little antsy.
Ray, I got to tell you, if I'm driving, I'm going as hard as I can right now. Looks like Mackey's giving it all he's got.
B.J. Mackey, a 2-time champion at Lancaster Speedway back in 1991 and 92 before moving into the Goodies Dash Series. He was 4th at both of the Myrtle Beach races this year. 5 laps to go this time. Can he improve on his best finish of 1997 and get from 2nd place to 1st?
Great shots from our in-car camera. He's hanging it all out, Ray.
So Brian Sockwell, a 3-time winner in 1997, is out front in car number 54. The Cleaver Brooks sponsored car with 4 laps to go. B.J. Mackey with pressure on him. Will Hobgood continues to run in 3rd place, but the battle is for the lead here as Mackey is putting pressure on Sockwell right and left. Mike Swaim not a factor in tonight's race here, believe it or not. So it's all up to B.J. Mackey if he can mount a challenge here with 3 laps remaining.
Seems like he runs down in the corner real hard, Ray, but just gets down, he gets the thing turned, and then the car comes out from under him.
Brian Sockwell qualified on the pole tonight here at Langley. 2 laps to go. We'll get the white flag the next time by. Shouldn't be any kind of lap traffic causing any problem. And Robert Huffman has spun coming off of turn number 4. In the White House Apple Juice is number 37, so the yellow flag comes out here as we were about to get the white flag next time by.
About to have a car in here, Ray. And this sets up an interesting finish because in the Dash Series, they never end under caution. So no matter how many times this takes, we'll go green, white, checker so that we end under green.
I really like that. A lot of people complain about the Winston Cup races ending under yellow. They don't do that in this kind of racing. Now you look right here, you see Robert Huffman in the 37 car. He was slowing down a bit there, and he got nudged from behind by John Redmond in the number 45 car. So Definitely not Robert Huffman's problem, but it appeared he may have been going to the pits.
It looked like he was trying to go to pit road. He's been suffering all since he got here with some brake problems, and Ray, this is definitely not a place you want to be without being able to touch the brake and settle the car down.
Huffman came into this race 5th in points, just 56 points behind Jake Hobgood. And of course, Jake retired early tonight in this race, so Robert Huffman, if he is able to finish, may improve in his points position, even though he's not having that great of a race.
He should jump up one spot, but once again, we spoke at the top of the show, that 40-point penalty from Myrtle Beach, that could play into it for his championship effort.
So Huffman gets slow coming off of turn 4, gets spun around by Redmond, and that brings out the yellow. We have now completed 100 racing laps, and there you see Redmond's number 45. And it appears that they're going to give him a penalty similar to the one that they did for Huffman last week. They're giving him a rough driving penalty, which will cost him 2 laps on the final finish.
That's almost a shame, Ray, because I think in a situation like that, besides the driver needing to be heads up, but that's what you have a spotter out here for. Your spotter's supposed to let you know whether there's something on the track, somebody slowing down, whatever. So not necessarily the driver's problem, but again, you know, they'll be reminded not to make that mistake again.
Well, once again, on board with Brian Sockwell. He's very calm, cool, and collective. Things going his way tonight as he has led a big portion of this race at Langley. He is out front, and it'll be a dash for the cash as we will get a green, white, checkered finish here. We've already completed the required 100 laps, and the lights are off on the pace car. So here we go, folks. Hold on. And the pace car will drop to pit road, and Sockwell will be the leader. B.J. Mackey closes right up on the bumper. A great restart here as Mackey is right with him. Can he do anything with him down the front straightaway? Once again, Sockwell with a good start.
Great start, gets down to the bottom. Mackey turned in. Looked like he had a chance to turn around there, but he was used better judgment there. We'll see what he can do coming off of turn 4 for the white.
And Sockwell gets a little bit loose coming off of 4. The white flag is out. 1 lap to go. Can B.J. Mackey do anything? Mackey slides a little sideways. There's contact coming off of turn number 2. Brian Sockwell has less than a half a lap to go. He can hold on. Mackey slides it, and Mackey's going to come down the front straightaway completely sideways to take 2nd place. 3rd will go to Will Hobgood, who told us he wasn't even going to run the race.
Well, great ride by Brian Sockwell. What a job by B.J. Mackey. He gave us our money's worth tonight, folks.
Well, if anyone's in position to make a move to any other division, it certainly could be this guy, as he picked up tonight his 4th win of 1997. And we talked about that point lead that Mike Swaim had. It's not going to be nearly as big after tonight.
Well, we know we did talk about that, and Mike had major problems. So here we go.
So Swaim with problems tonight and drops back in the running order, and Sockwell does exactly what he needed to do, wins the pole and wins the race. So he will take home 180 points for the victory. We'll have to see exactly where Swaim finished, but this is going to tighten things up as there are 6 remaining races in the 1997 season. So Brian Sockwell takes the gloves off and gets ready to celebrate down in Victory Lane here at Langley Speedway in Hampton, Virginia. Sockwell is your winner. Mackey gave him a great run. Will Hobgood comes through the field. Charles Powell III is 4th. And look at this, Ned Combs comes all the way up to finish 5th. Well, we'll talk to the leader and the winner, Brian Sockwell, as B.J. Mackey gave him a great run. We'll be right back. Hobgood exhausted and in pain after that great run. We didn't even think he would go the distance, but finishes 3rd tonight out of the car, and the attendants there are going to give him some oxygen to try to make things better. A great race here tonight at Langley Speedway as we went 104 laps because of a late race caution. And Brian Sockwell is the winner. He's standing by with Stephen Cox.
And we got a happy crew down here. These guys, you know, they're 3 for 3 on ESPN2. Now, Brian, congratulations on a great win. They had to handle well, but you look awful tired.
I'm tired. The car was real loose. And, but we've been tight all day long. I've been complaining. I bet I'm probably one of the most complaining race cars there is, it sounds like today, for pushing. They got me loose tonight. And 3 for 3 on ESPN. I wish they were here all the races.
Now talk about the pass for the lead. You guys were going tooth and nail so hard. Do you even remember it?
No, not really. I know they got by me. Some lap cars kind of messed me up, and we was trying to be careful. We didn't want any conflicts tonight, and I wanted to win, and I wanted to feel good. And they slipped by me, and I said, I'll get them back. And And I kept digging, and I said, they're just as bad as I was as far as loose. And we just kind of laid back a little bit.
Now the points are starting to go your way. Talk about the point battle a little bit. Does this relieve some pressure?
No, I got a long ways to go. We got 3 DNFs this year, and they killed us in the points wise. We're second, and the last 2 races we've been showing on it. Tell you what, CC Buller, Cleaver Brook, Carry Communications, everybody, they sticking with me, and we're doing the best we can right now.
Did you know how hard you were being pushed coming down from the checkered flag? What's going through your head? I mean, it was like this race was never going to end.
I was counting laps. He said one time, I thought he said 49. I kept asking. And then he said it was going to be single file. And after 25 laps, we go single file. And I said, well, how many laps you say? He said, I said 24. I said, cool. You know, I mean, that made me feel a whole lot better.
Well, look at this guy's sweat. We told you it was hot tonight. Congratulations, Brian.
Yeah, I want to say thanks to my whole family, like I said, the crew. My wife back home, hope she feels better. And fans, this track, it definitely is a nice racetrack. And we're 2 for 2 here. We come in a legend car probably 4 years ago for our first time we won there too. So,
thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
So 139 points will now be the differential between Sockwell and Mike Swaim, who is the point leader. Take a look at our top 10 in the finish order tonight. Sockwell, your winner, B.J. Mackey, Will Hobgood, Charles Powell. And we didn't say much about Ned Combs.
He just steady all night, Ray, and he comes home with the top 5 finish. Larry Caldwell, of course, finishes 6th. Mike Swaim, a disappointing 7th. Robert Huffman finishes 8th with a spin, a late race spin there. Jimmy Gross comes home 9th. And, of course, Doc Brower limps around to 10th.
So that's a look at your top 10 tonight here as we bring you racing on ESPN2 from the NASCAR Goodies Dash Series. So that will complete the 15th event of 1997. 6 events remaining, and that points differential getting a little bit tighter each and every race. Congratulations to Brian Sockwell, our winner. Many of the drivers trying to get some relief there. And we'll be back as we've got more racing coming your way from Langley Speedway. Once again, your winner of tonight's race, Brian Sockwell.